Claude helping Ben to become a content creator? Because Ben has been traveling a lot, as you've been seeing in the past 19 episodes. He has barely been in the same place, and he has many stories to tell, but he's never really had a video editing crash course or a background. And when I saw his video popping up on Instagram 2 days ago, I was so surprised. I'm like, wow, Ben, this is amazing content. And when he told me that this video was actually made by AI, not AI generated, but AI assisted creation, I blew off my chair. I couldn't believe it. And I want Ben to share a bit more about that whole process and how it went. So before we dive deeper into all the topics of the week, I think this is a great start, Ben. Let's get started with your content creation journey and what made you actually start sharing these stories, and then what's the process of how you used Claude to get this video into the world.
Yeah. So I just started with this one video. I had this kind of surreal night in Vietnam over a year ago where I was invited to this party on the Reunification Day, which is basically the anniversary of North and South Vietnam reuniting together and the war ending. And I had all of these clips from like over a year ago, but parsing through them, it was like over an hour worth of clips. It just was too much to kind of go through manually. I didn't want to do that. So what I did is I basically told Claude, go through all of the videos that I have on this specific day, April 30th of 2025, tag every single, video. So like I really did have to prompt it and say, look at the frames, the various frames of the video, and then see what types of basically what content is in that video. So for instance, there's this one that's at the party you can see on the screen. There are ones where I'm like cheersing with others. There's others where I'm going through the rice fields. And I told Claude, go through each video, tag them, label them appropriately, clip them up into different ones if perhaps the first half and the second half were different. And then from there, I said, let's come up with a script. I have like a general sense of what I want the video to convey, what the vibe is, and all of that. But let's come up with like a script of what we're going to say. And then I'll do a voiceover, that Claude will give me the voiceover. And then from there, we'll put together the voiceover with the clips that it's tagged to create like a, kind of a full end to end, 2 minute long video recapping the night. So this was the kind of final output. Um, as far as, how it went, like it went great, but it is slow, to be clear, right?
Quick question
Yeah.
here. Did you start with asking Claude to analyze the content, or did you start with giving it already like some script you had in your head? Because normally I would
Um,
start with a script. Like that's how I would start. How did you
yeah.
start?
I started by saying this was my night. This is what I want to convey in the video, right? I want to
Mm-hmm.
convey
Yeah.
how, I ended up at this party. I was invited to it because I was the first customer at this hotel. I just happened to be at this hotel. And I said, like, I really want to, like, I want it to be quick and snappy where I'm showing like one beer, two beer, three beers. And then, I want to show like a quick video of me actually singing karaoke. And then I want to show a quick video of my speech that I made in front of everyone towards the end. So with that context, I kind of said this is the general idea. It came back with a script. From that script, I definitely tweaked it. I said, no, that's like super cheesy. Like we don't want to say that. We would rather say it this way. But after a few iterations and like understanding the vibe, it was able to come up with a pretty good script. I then, took out my DJI mic mini. I recorded a little voiceover, read it back or sent it back to Claude. I said, "Hey, this is in my downloads folder, this voiceover that I just recorded." It went through, there were even a couple takes where I said a line more than once. It was able to, see and clip out the parts that were me messing up. And then it was able to like come up with this voiceover. From that voiceover, it kind of built the actual video components and put them in accordingly. So I will say this did take a couple of days to really perfect in terms of like not full days I should say, but
Yeah.
giving feedback and saying, oh yeah, let's do this instead of that. Like I don't like this clip as much. but like it was able to put in the captions and all the other things. Yeah. So it was pretty
So you
impressive.
go
And yeah, go
hmm
ahead.
So you go from like a raw idea or script to Claude analyzing the content of that specific day to then creating a, let's say, a draft timeline of all the clips, to then maybe in parallel create the better script that you the voiceover, and then once you add the voiceover to the draft timeline, Claude then sees where and how the voiceover fits to the clips, or that didn't really matter. I wonder, and then on top of that, the captions get added to the screen, and I think there's music as well, right? And I see, for example, motion graphics. So is this a screenshot that it found in your photo album, or is this a screenshot that it went to search online and then took the screenshot itself and created the motion graphic of the circle around it itself?
Yeah. So the motion graphics one is super cool. And that's what gets me probably the most excited about like today, where there's value added there. For that, it created that, right? That's HTML. Everything is
Mm,
code, and it
mm.
just created this view of like a booking.com site essentially.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I gave it a few photos from booking.com of that hotel, and I
Yeah.
told it what that hotel was. So I was able to grab that part.
Oh, really cool. No, I really like it. But yeah, okay, we are not fully there yet. You say you spent a few days iterating this, and I know it's not full days, but still, I'm assuming a few days. That's like probably 3 to 4 hours of work that you put into this. If I look at this, me with some of my video editing experience, I think I could create a clip like this in 30 minutes of CapCut. So there is still like a bit of like it's great for people that don't know how to edit, but it's not there yet in terms of being super productive. I'm assuming, and I
Yeah,
also wonder how many tokens you might have burned having Claude doing all these steps, like analyzing frames. I think is quite token intensive.
intensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did just ask Claude how many tokens we burned, and it's telling me a huge number. We're talking 500 million, but I don't think that
What?
that's right. No, I don't think that's right. Now the
Mm,
output tokens is 2 million, right?
mm,
Which sounds more like it. There were 123 messages that I sent back and forth. So there were a lot of iterations of this.
mm.
And as far as how many different types of drafts, it looks like there were 5 different drafts, right? We had to draft it 5 times to get to this output. Um, the thing is that this took a long time because the rendering of every single version of the video took around 30 to 40 minutes to
Oh.
render. If I was a content creator, I could theoretically kick off like 5 of these at the same time.
Mhm.
And this is where I think also having like a Mac Studio with 256 gigs of RAM probably would make this way faster, because my understanding is that a lot of this, you know, the processing is happening on like the computer when it comes to the remotion part, right?
Yeah.
And I do think remotion probably is I don't know, pretty cumbersome. But then again, like, yes, to your point, Rick, you could use CapCut or iMovie or Final Cut or Premiere on your computer, and it'd be way faster than
Mhm.
using remotion, right?
Could you also ask maybe that thread what it would like how many tokens it would cost to analyze a 10-second video? Maybe that gives a good insight as well. I'm just genuinely curious. And I mean, what model did you use for this analysis? That's Sonnet.
Um, it was probably just Opus. I was just using Opus through and through. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I was also playing with trying to see if like there was an external video analyzer software, but I didn't see anything like that. So, Rick, give me one sec.
Yeah.
I
Sure.
gotta open the door because she
Yeah.
keeps. I think she wants to go.
Meowing. Meow meow.
Yeah, you heard that?
No, I did. I did not hear it.
Okay, that's good at least. Yeah, she's
I saw her walking back and forth.
yeah. I heard it. I'm glad you didn't hear it. I hope
Uh,
you didn't hear it.
no, I will cut this out for
Yeah,
the transcribed.
yeah.
Mm, yeah.
My
So
my
the
my
oh,
my
keep going.
general vision here though is that I do think that there is a wild opportunity for enabling, content creators to blow up on the internet because now you can just tell CapCut, look at everything that I did in this day, and theoretically CapCut will have some sort of model built into it where it can edit and analyze all of your videos and really look at what's going on in the videos, right? And I think we're just at the cusp of being able to do that in these models where the image analysis software is good enough and it can be quick
Uh-huh.
enough to be able to look at different parts of your video and then parse together like what's going on there.
Yeah. No, I tried playing with this idea of like, okay, I have 2 terabytes of content. How do I now go from having this to having this indexed to then actually being able to talk to my agent, that it can then go and search in this index what content is related to this idea to then have turn that quick, because you only have to index your content once, right? And then it's
Right.
all tagged, and from that moment on, the most expensive part actually happened. It's only the question like what's that gonna cost at this point, or what's a good infrastructure of doing that? Because maybe that's another question. Did it analyze this locally? Like or is this in a cloud that your content had been analyzed?
Yeah, it tagged it all locally on my
Uh-huh.
device. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I saw, like, there is this tool that I saw popping up recently, sharing screen. It's called Roll, and it's by this Australian creator called Alfie, and they
Mhm.
basically do that. This app turn your camera roll into viral reels in 60 seconds. You give it an idea, and you like it. That it has analyzed your camera roll, and then it creates a video for you, and it says this, and this clip fit well there. They they work with quite a lot of creators. Like there's like this creator cabal in specific niches. I've seen a lot of like I know one of those guys as well. They're like all pushing this now. So there's something there. I think they went to like 200K MRR in 2 months time. Um, with this product, it's quite interesting. So yeah, there's definitely something there. Um, but
Yeah,
like it's
just
nice that you're like gluing it together as well, and that you're actually making something out of it.
yeah. Um, if you do scroll down, Rick, I do find it interesting to analyze always like the difference between the monthly and the annual plans.
Uh-huh.
And that kind of does give you a sense of, I mean, it gives you a sense of how good the churn is within a business. And if we're looking at 49 to 228, it's basically like 4.5 months. That's kind of the break even point between the annual and the monthly, which to me does seem a little bit low for a product like this, right? Which you would think you'd be using year on. So just kind of one observation is like I'm trying to see like, does this actually work yet? And I'd be
Mm-hmm.
curious to know how, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, how well it actually performs. But we could try it for
Yeah.
free. Maybe we end up uploading some of our videos and I know it's not the exact use case,
Mm-hmm.
but it might be interesting to see
No,
there
exactly.
as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and like when we were doing our presentations in Malta, I was also like the two directions that I'm thinking when I create something is create or connect. And I think that like this type of app or solution totally fits within the create umbrella, with some other tools that I've been thinking about. But we had Matt on the pod as well. He was like playing around with creating his own video editor, and it's like more YouTube focused or hyperframes and merging all of these things. But he said I gave up trying to productize this because it also involves hardware. Like you gotta have an idea of the hardware they're using because it's like locally and rendering, and like you say, like the rendering took a lot of time. And that's like it's fun to vibe code things. It's fun to have AI create stuff like the book that I showed you earlier, where you give it a prompt, you give it a transcript, and start generating images. That's all easy. But to actually render videos, that's a whole other game that not all devices are capable doing. And then, yeah, then you need a clear segmentation of a user, or like, yeah, if you really want to build that for the masses, you have to take into account a lot of things that we sometimes don't think of when we're just building something easy. Super interesting. This is great. I hope to see more of your content popping up, and yeah, like to see some progress there. That's really nice.